Hello and good afternoon, everyone. I am Faith Hunter, and welcome to our manifestation through your nervous system. Manifesting through your nervous system. Sorry about that. It's been a long day. I don't know about you guys. It's been a long week. It's been a long month. It's been a long year so far. But again, welcome. So delighted that you all are here. And I'm going to turn this music down. This is our live session for the Spiritually Fly monthly vibe for the month of April. And again, I am so happy to be here. These particular sessions are sponsored by, directly connected to my Spiritually Fly app. Now, before I actually dive into today's session, I want to share a few thoughts around manifestation. But I also want to let you know, if you're new to me, you may not know what these sessions actually include. I will have a topic and a theme. I will also share some type of practice, a meditation practice, a breathing practice, or even a journaling practice. And that's exactly what I'm going to offer today. We're going to talk about manifestation. And the beautiful part about this particular moment in time, and one of the reasons I selected the end of the month to do this, is because today is April 30th. And I chose this date because it actually carries such a potent and fertile vibration and a potent energy. And you see, where we're sitting right now, here in this moment in time, we are just a few days past our new moon in Taurus. New moon in Taurus happened on Sunday. And this is actually a nice little sweet spot of expansion. It is a kind of like a cosmic portal that supports grounding into your dreams. And also, it's an opportunity to call in what you're manifesting, but do it from a place of stability, softness, and even that connection and abundance, and meaning that vibration of us connecting to abundance without the push and pull. Before we dive into everything, before I discuss the topic, before I provide some prompts and a meditation, I want to share a breathing practice. This gives us an opportunity to ground and fully and completely center. So know that your eyes can remain opened or closed for this, it doesn't matter. I just want you to take full active inhales and exhales through your nose. And as you exhale, know that you can release and take a big sigh. So just breathing in. Exhale, emptying out. Deep breath in. Exhale, empty out. And take a few more of those deep breaths in and out of your nose, exhaling out of your mouth if you so desire. And know that these breaths are giving you a moment to center. So I want you to think about this time that we're sharing together as your space, your personal gift to yourself to connect to you. And as you continue to breathe in and out, know that, again, this is a potent time to set intentions. But I also want you to know that you can actually set intentions. You can plant new seeds at any moment in time. It's simply just that this moment is a little more magical. It's a little more magical because it gives us an opportunity to ride this cosmic wave because the universe is opening its doors just a little bit wider today. Breathing in, breathing out. All right, if you have your eyes closed, feel free to go on and open them. And we're going to go on and explore something that I feel is or has been extremely foundational and fundamental and key and important in my life as it relates to my own well being journey. Know again that we're going to talk about manifesting, and we're going to do that through the lens of nervous system regulation. And as I share my kind of personal story, I want you to keep in mind that your manifestation journey, your healing journey, is all about tapping into your inner strength and nourishing your soil, your ground, your earth, so that your dreams can effectively and beautifully come forward. So, here's my little story. When I reflect back on some of the most transformational seasons and moments in my life, they did not show up through the full on, nonstop grinding and overworking moments in my life. It's really fascinating because they actually came in those moments where I paused, in those quiet moments when I actually allowed myself to breathe, when I stopped trying to make everything happen, but instead I let it unfold from a deeper, more nourishing, much more steady place in my own life. In my early years, I mean, like way back in the day, especially in those moments where, or that particular moment or that season in my life, I should say, when I was leaving my nonprofit and corporate world. When I was in that world, I really equated success with busyness. I equated it with super duper hard work. And as I think about this, I think about how even growing up, my parents, right, and always told me, Faith, you are, you will become, you're a Black young girl right now, but you will become a Black woman. And even now, right, in my younger teenage years and into adulthood, you're going to have to work 100 times harder. And so that's what I carried into my professional life. That's what I carried into my undergrad education. That's what I carried into my grad school, definitely working hard, my MBA and doing all those things. And as I progressed in my career, my professional career in nonprofit as well as in corporate America, it was just grind, grind, grind. And even when I became a yoga teacher, there were moments where I was always on, always making a conscious, like it was a conscious effort to constantly prove something. But before I left the yoga scene, or before I entered the wellness scene and left my corporate world, I knew that my nervous system needed an adjustment, but I didn't know exactly what. Because my nervous system was actually at a state of alert. And the beautiful part is that over the past 20 plus years in the wellness industry with experience, well as with all of the study that I've acquired, I know for a fact that I was in a survival mode. And you're probably saying to yourself, yeah, I was in that survival mode too. And that survival mode, ultimately, what I've experienced and learned is that it cuts us off from us having the ability and the access to personal clarity. It cuts us off from our access to creativity. And it definitely cuts us off from our access to receiving. You see, like you and I, right? We probably thought, and I know I definitely did, so I don't want to say probably, we thought that we were doing the right thing. Like we had all the paper, all the things, all the skills and all the talents. And we were utilizing all of our credentials to advance. But in the end, especially during my corporate years, I was disconnected from my flow. You're probably wondering, like, what changed? There was a shift. But in order for me to move out of that survival mode and move into flow, I had to shift what was happening internally. I had to shift body, mind, and soul. And I needed to fully and completely heal my nervous system or move towards that. Now, I want to say that this approach did not happen overnight. It was definitely gradual. It was over a course of time, right? And even through those years, and even now, I'm continuing to gently give myself grace, intentional awareness with my breath is constant. Purposeful movement from the time of day, the type of movement, the postures, the way I shift and move my physical body. And I've also had to tap into radical rest. So, trust me, when there were moments, and even now, when there are moments when the pressure is on, we all have the tendency to drop back into old habits, right? To fall back into that do mentality instead of giving ourselves, even in the moments of action and effort, we have to remind ourselves to give our bodies, our minds, and our souls time to step into a place of ease. I want to share another little story. I remember the first time that I gave myself permission to be still, to feel safe in stillness. I realized in that moment that I was holding on so tight. I was bracing myself for the inevitable, meaning the painful inevitable. And I was making every effort to control. Now, this was a difficult yet magical moment in my life because in that moment, my older brother was transitioning. He was had been diagnosed with HIV many, many years prior. And he was dealing with complications related to AIDS. And he was moving through his final days. And then finally, he passed. And I said magical at first because It was a magical shift. I'd started practicing my yoga and my meditation prior to him passing, when actually I started doing it when he was in the hospital. But that shift that happened within me, it wasn't a random shift, right? It was a shift to carry me and propel me into where I am now. It literally was a true kickstart in my journey, my life's purpose that I didn't even know was my purpose. And that all happened in the late 90s. Now, as I move through the practice of yoga and meditation, somatic healing, breath work, right? All of these things, and I show up as a teacher, I am inspired by that moment, that kickstart moment. I'm inspired by the work that even my brother did in wellness. He was a physician, he was a gynecologist, and he specifically helped and served, I should say, he served women in East LA. And yeah, giving ourselves time to pause and rest. I just want you to breathe on that for a moment. When have you pushed too hard? When have you given more than you needed to? When have you overexerted yourself in such a way that your body told you no more? I want to also add that what transpired in that moment post his passing, and as I started to tap into myself, is that I became a little bit more attuned to who I am, to what I desired. And there was something also greater than me that was cradling my soul. There was something way more powerful that was watching over me and guiding my presence on this earth. So much like how I navigate my life now, I still honor that energy. But I know that there is something beautiful. There's this magnetic energy that swirls around us. There are ancestral portals and connections, and there are definitely manifestation doorways offering each and every one of us a chance to listen more clearly, to plant the seeds with conviction. So that's where we're landing today for April 30th, right here in this session, because this moment in time is a window of opportunity. And we are definitely still kind of basking in that sensual power of that Taurus new moon. The energy is ripe for aligned manifestation, especially if we allow ourselves to nurture and cradle our nervous system, honor our bodies, and cultivate with breath our intentions and our visions. Adding a little extra onto all of this for all my astrology heads, this Taurus lingering energy, right? This Taurus season that we're in right now reminds us that we don't have to rush and we don't have to hustle our way to receiving. I'm not saying that we don't put into action, that we don't do the work. Yes, we have to do that. We definitely have to stay rooted as we do the work. We have to stay present as we do the work. And as we cultivate our inner relationship, we have to stay in rhythm with our breath, our body, and our soul. Manifestation is definitely about receiving. But in order for us to receive, we have to have space, lots of space, and we have to be willing to make space. And that's what the movement, the breath, the meditation, right? The journaling, the dance, all of that supports us in removing the things that we don't need, the things that are blocking us. It shifts and changes the way that we see ourselves and our connection to ourselves. And as it makes space, more can flow and pour in. And I deeply, deeply believe the nervous system is truly our gateway, meaning a calm, soothing, nourished, cared for, and cradled nervous system is our gateway to receiving. And my life, without a doubt, is a testimony to that. When our nervous system, our body, our mind, and our soul are aligned, things happen. Opportunities come our way. But even if our nervous system is out of balance, because you're probably thinking, well, things have happened to me before and I didn't have a regulated nervous system. I was going crazy, right? Yeah. I'm not saying things are not going to happen, right? I'm not saying that you're not going to call stuff in. But if you just take a moment and do a quick little assessment of your life and identify when you were dysregulated, when you were angry, when you were frustrated, when you were afraid, when you were filled with anxiety and something did manifest, it was probably more than likely coated with toxicity or dysfunction. And that goes for career, relationships, and other aspects of your life. It's kind of like that saying of all money isn't good money. Yeah. So think about that for a moment. Where in your life did you manifest something or something really amazing showed up, but it didn't feel aligned in the end, or it backfired, or it plummeted? When we feel safe in our bodies, we move from this place of force to flow. We stop chasing and things begin to arrive. We're able to discern what truly is aligned, and we're able to comfortably or uncomfortably release. Before we go on, I want to just pause for a quick moment and just kind of briefly share a little bit about what's inside the Spiritually Fly app. So if you're new to it, here's a quick little explanation. If you're not, you know exactly what's in there. And we're constantly adding new stuff, making adjustments and whatnot. So inside the Spiritually Fly app, which also is connected and includes practices from my book, Spiritually Fly, we have a variety of tools, wellness, well-being, healing tools that help to shift the way that we exist. So there's everything from breath work to truly soothe your body and your mind. There are movement practices, from yogic practices to somatic practices to rewire the nervous system, but also rewire our patterns, because the practices are created to create a shift. They're meditations to clear as well as declutter the noise in our mind space. And of course, there are practices to anchor you in your personal power. I want you to keep in mind that all of the tools and practices that I share in my books, that I share here on YouTube, that I share in my Spiritually Fly app, I also share these practices during in-person sessions. So when I do things in the flesh, from retreats to practices like I'm doing this coming Saturday in DC. So I'm leaving New Orleans, heading to DC. All right. The final thing I want to share about just the practices that I share is that they are all a sacred part of what I do, but know that they are all rooted in something essential. They're rooted in the fact that you don't have to become someone new in order to live your best life and manifest. You simply have to show up authentically and be your most divine self in order to receive. Okay, let's move into a manifestation journaling ritual. Now, what I want to share is that this is, I want to say, not my only, definitely not my only, but it's one of my favorite manifestation rituals, which is not in my book and it is not included in my app. It has been something that I've actually kept to myself over the years, and I've shared it, I think, in some retreats or some workshops that I've done over the years, but it's definitely kind of something I've kept kind of secret. But I felt like today was definitely the day in order to offer this up. And I'm going to walk you through this particular manifestation journaling ritual, but know that I've also included a link below where you can go right to it, or you can access it online, and you can have it as my personal little gift to you. Now, this practice is about energetic clarity. It's simple. It's ancestral and soulful, and it's deeply effective. I'm going to walk you through the steps. I'm going to share the prompts, but I encourage you again to click the link to access. Now, as we move through this, know that there is an element of comforting, soothing, and nourishing your nervous system. But this practice definitely shows your nervous system as well as the universe that you are open and that you are available. You are available to receive what you most and truly desire. So here's how it works. Number one, I'm really going step by step here. Number one, you want to grab a pen and a piece of paper, but also for this, you want to make sure that you have an envelope. Number two, you want to set aside at least 15 minutes so you are not distracted. Now, this 15 minutes is your time, your me time. So go to a park, find a quiet space in your home, grab a cup of tea, whatever. This is your 15 minutes. Then you're going to write. Now, before you write, I'm going to encourage you to breathe. So once you gather all those things up, you're just going to take some long, deep breaths. Maybe give yourself about a minute or two to just kind of sit in stillness, breathe. And then when you come out of that, you're going to start to write. And I want you to pour your thoughts out onto paper without overthinking. Here are the prompts that you're going to include, or here are the prompts for what you're going to journal. What does the most align, fully expressed version of you look and feel like? What does the most align, fully expressed version of you look and feel like? What do you want to experience over the next 12 months, emotionally, spiritually, creatively, financially, rationally? What do you want to experience over the next 12 months? Then you're going to name 11. I selected the number 11 because I like 11s. Okay. You can do 10, you can do 15, but you can do 11. All right. Name 11 specific things, moments, or shifts you're calling in. So, what are you calling in? And I want these to be the smallest daily joys, all the way up to the gigantic, big jumbotron life experiences. The next prompt is, who are you becoming in the next chapter of your life? What does your energy, your presence, your pace, your boundaries, and your radiance feel like? And if you've noticed, I've used the word feel many times because you have to feel it in. That's that somatic connection, right? You want to feel into your body. So not only what are you becoming in your next chapter, what does that feel like? Then once you've written all of those down, the fourth thing that you want to do, you want to take that piece of paper, those things that you've written down, and I want you to read them aloud. I mean, you may have a couple of pages, and that's okay. And I just want you to read it, and you can read it more than once. So maybe you need 20 minutes. And then as you read it, I want you to feel into your body. Let yourself absorb the vibration of the words that are coming out of your mouth. This is an embodiment practice as you're reading it. Sometimes when I do this, I'm standing, right? Grounding through the soles of my feet, and then I'm reading what's on the page. So it's an embodiment practice. And hear the sound, current, and vibration of your own voice, and then feel that move through your body. And then once you read it, I'm going to take that same sheet of paper and right at the bottom of it, I want you to write, I allow myself to receive this life fully, freely, and in divine timing. I allow myself to receive this life fully, freely, and in divine timing. The next step is to fold the piece of paper up, seal it in that envelope, and then place this somewhere sacred in your home. Now, that may be a drawer, under your pillow, by your nightstand, in your journal, or on your altar. I always like placing mine on my altar that's like right over there. And after that, after you place it somewhere safe and secure, I'm not saying that you're not going to think about and feel through it again, right? You definitely will have those thoughts in your mind, but I want you to release attachment, right? So you can still think about it, you can still feel into it, you can still Soak it up from time to time. But I want you to know that the ritual is doing its work. What I really want you to do is to trust. Trust the divine timing and just let everything fall into place. Now, again, I'm not saying that you're not going to put things into action. There may be things that you need to do in order to open a little door. There may be things you need to do for the opportunities to flow in. But as things start to unfold, when your nervous system is steady, when you're grounded, when you're aligned, when you're calm, when you're feeling in flow, when you're getting rest, you will be able to experience a sense of clarity. And from that place of clarity, you will be able to see when those doors open. You will be able to discern and determine which opportunities are in most alignment with you. And when an opportunity shows up, it may not look exactly how you've written it down, but it may feel how you've written it down. Or it may be a bridge or just a little boat to carry you to the other side. Now, here's the other thing that's going to happen, and this is really important. Some things are going to fall off because you're going to let some things go. Room has to be made. And sometimes when things fall off, when things end, it may feel uncomfortable. And in those uncomfortable moments, that's when you need to tap into your breath. So I'm going to remind you to breathe. I'm going to remind you to move your body. I'm going to remind you to meditate. When you do those things, you're regulating your nervous system. And basically, you're creating a foundation, because what is going to happen is that when you have a strong, solid nervous system, you've made space and room for your manifestations to show up and come into your life. Your nervous system is ready to handle the success. Your nervous system is ready to handle all that you have done in that manifestation process. Mm. All right. Again, there's a link below. Feel free to click that. And I think it's time for us to meditate, do a little bit more nervous system stuff. Making some adjustments here. I'm going to take a sip of my tea and we're going to meditate. All right, beautiful people. Go ahead and get comfortable. And know for this meditation, you can remain seated or you can lie down, and it's pretty short. So do whatever feels best for you, what's going to be most supportive for your body in this moment. And as your eyes start to close or just simply cast them down, know that your hands can rest wherever it feels comfortable for you. Allow your breath to slowly move naturally in and out of your nose. Feel free to take a few sighs if that feels great. But again, allow the breath to flow naturally. Feel a softness start to wash across your face, your eyelids, your shoulders. And give yourself this moment to be held. To be held by the earth and to be held by the sound of my voice. Breathing in and breathing out. Bring your internal awareness right between your brow, your first eye. And I want you to imagine a warm sensation caressing your first eye. And then as you feel the warmth, begin to imagine a glowing light starting to flow through your first eye and move into every inch of your body. It's soft, yet radiant. This light that is moving in is a mirror of today's energy. The light that flows is steady, it's nurturing, and it is beautifully abundant. It's your light of possibility. It's a light of presence. It's a light of expansion. And it is a light of grounded manifestation. And feel that light moving deeper into your body, your mind, and your soul. Feel it move through the layers of your skin, caressing the muscles in your body. And feel it moving like a wave as you breathe in and out. The glorious part is that this warm light gently coats your nervous system. It's coating your nervous system with love and ease. And as it moves through, it's whispering to you. It is safe to dream. It is safe to be open. It is safe to receive. It is safe to dream. It is safe to be open. It is safe to receive. It is safe to dream. It is safe to be open. And it is safe to dream. It is safe to be open. It is safe to receive. 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 Feel that truth landing in your soul like a seed sitting in rich soil. Dream, be open, receive. And then take a deep breath in. Exhale, empty out. Deep breath in. Exhale. Bring gentle, loving movement back into your body. Move organically, stretch wherever you need to. And as your eyes start to blink open, I want to thank you so much for joining me this afternoon for our manifestation through nervous system healing and regulation. I'm so delighted to be able to share my story, to be able to offer up some tips and points, and definitely know that if you have any questions, don't hesitate to drop them in the comments. I definitely do respond and I check them on a regular. And don't hesitate to click the link below to access or gain access to the manifestation journaling ritual. And yeah, if you have any requests, don't hesitate. Thank you again for joining me for our monthly session, our monthly vibe for the Spiritually Fly experience and app. And have an amazing May as you wake up in the morning. And one little caveat, do that ritual today so that you can step into May in trust. All right, guys, stay spiritually fly. Ciao.